do you want to? Oh, I think I spoke over you there.
Hi, I'm Jack's dad.
And I'm Mike's son. And today we're going to be talking about not just the first John Wick, but the Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, and potentially what we would like to see in the future. So let's get on. We'll start with the first one because we did watch this the other day just to get ready for this. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the first one, which you hope you can remember?
John Wick. When I first heard of the John Wick, I thought, oh, no, so all it's going to be is just blood and guts and no story or anything like that. So, under protest, I watched the first one, and then basically got into it and wanted to watch the second one and wanted to watch the third one. And as I say, I think they're in the process of making a fourth one.
I think it's halfway there.
Yeah. So yeah, I was quite pleasantly surprised with John Wick.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think they are pretty good films.
Yeah, and the first one, it's actually kind of like an emotional story, isn't it? It has that story arc of John Wick. As they go on, they get a little bit more just action-centric, but this one does have a bit more story to it.
Yeah, he actually gets out of the business that he's in, and he's got a wife, and he's quite happy, isn't he? Yeah. And then, unfortunately, his wife has a terminal problem and passes away. So he's left quite upset about all of this, and the last gift that his wife gives him is a puppy dog. And unfortunately, he gets back into what he's good at.
Yeah. And that is, he is an assassin.
Yeah.
So yeah, this first film, something I think it does really well, is it captures the sort of the fight style and action of what you would frequently only see probably in Asian cinema. Yeah. Of that sort of fight style. When I think of that, I immediately sort of think of the Raid movies. Mm-hmm. I think I've made you watch the first one of those. But that sort of close contact action, I think the fight in the nightclub here is very, it's something beyond good.
I think the first things in this film, when he basically he loses his rag, because all what he cares about and he loves or whatever is basically gone, and he's now lost his rag. And I think he's just like any man on the planet, that it gets to a certain stage and you just think no more. And in that film he just gets to that stage where it's like, no, you're not doing this to me anymore, because then he goes off deep end, and from then on it's just well, John Wick at his best.
Yes, yeah, I don't actually know if we see him at his best until maybe the third film.
Well, I don't know, he was pretty good in the first one.
Yeah, there are kill counts on YouTube. I might have to watch one of those at some point. There's a lot of bodies in this film.
A lot of body count,
Yeah.
But most of them deserve it. I've got to admit that there is a big body count in it.
Yeah.
But so far, when you watch them, apart from one or two people that are his friends, but then again they're assassins or they're into something like he's in, no one innocent gets killed or hurt.
No, you don't really see any innocent characters.
No, it's all about the horrible people that he's involved with. And
that industry.
Yeah, the industry, and that's what the kill count is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in this film, the first one, it is quite blue. I'm going to use the word blue. As the film's gone, they get more colourful, and Chad Stahelski, who started off as, I want to say as John Wick stuntman, as Keanu Reeves stuntman, he gets a bit more into the directing role, and it gets a bit more colourful and so forth. Whereas this one is quite blue. It's still good. I think he does get better instant. So I know you're not going to have a great memory, but what do you think of the second one?
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of Keanu Reeves when I saw this.
Okay.
But I don't think there's any person in cinema at the moment looks as good in a black suit as Keanu Reeves does. No. When he puts that suit on, when he gets to work,
he looks like the assassin.
He does, and you're just thinking you won't want to mess with this bloke.
No.
But again, the second one, again, this story just revolves from the first one, and it goes into it. And I would have thought, if it's going to be exactly the same as the first one.
It builds, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it wasn't at all. Again, it built on its own story at the beginning, and then it went through, and you see, and it just one gelled straight into the other. And I thought that was really good the way they'd done that.
I think of the first two, I probably prefer the first one just a little bit, but there's elements in the second one of the universe building that I think really help what I would say is the best one, the third one, such as we see all the places he can spend his coins.
Yeah, yeah.
We see the what's the gentleman's name? He's in Shaun of the Dead. He's the comedian, the English comedian. He's in Spy as well.
English comedian.
Yeah, he's in Spy. He's an actor. He's in quite a few things.
Okay, he was a Frenchman in Spy.
He was, yeah. He's the tailor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy who sells the guns, isn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
And we see all these sort of things and how they talk about them as bottles of wine,
Yeah.
and it builds that universe really nicely. And we get the placard, like the blood oath things.
Yeah.
We get introduced to all that in the honor code, and I think it's really.
That's the thing that I liked about it, is the honour code. That even though all these people in these films are really Mr. Nasties, they're all, you know, assassins and they all want to kill each
There's
other.
rules.
There's rules in there, and when you go into that hotel, you are not allowed to basically. That is like sanctuary.
Yeah.
When you go into that hotel, no one's allowed to do anything while they're in that hotel. And in the first one, that girl, she breaks the rules.
That is a rule we're told about in the first film.
Yeah.
But then that sort of lays the groundwork for the second and third one,
Yeah.
because the rule was then broken again in the second one. I won't say too much in case you haven't seen the film, but that rule was broken in the second one, which then gives us the plot for the third one,
Yeah.
which I think is quite possibly the best of the three.
Yeah, because he's getting to that stage now where he's getting more and more annoyed as the films are going, and he's getting to that pitch where now he's going to explode at some point, and he explodes in the third one,
Yeah.
big time, and you just think to yourself, well, you can understand it, you know. He looks and thinks, oh no, there can't be any more, surely, and then something else happens, and you think, oh no, because then he uses it a little bit more,
Yeah.
and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and you're thinking to yourself, well, how much more of this is he going to take?
Yeah.
And as you say, it is what people will do for money.
Yeah.
You know, people will do anything.
Yeah, I remember when the first film came out. Sorry, the first trailer for the third one came out. There was the song "Impossible Dream" by Andy Williams was on the trailer. I think that really sums up the quest he does in this film. Is like, it's just not going to stop. It's just
all he wanted was to get out of it and have a quiet life. And from the minute he thought, I'm going to have a quiet life, he's not had it. And it's just, as you say, it's got worse all the way along. And he's just met so many horrible people, and so many people that just do wrong.
Yeah.
And you just think, how far can you go with this? You know, and he's got a few allies in it.
There's a couple hit, but I don't think there's anyone who would fully stand alongside him without. I think in the film you have Halle Berry. She really isn't a fan of him.
No, she don't like him at all.
I think in the first one, you kind of, but I think that's just more of an honour code thing.
With Defoe, yeah.
Yeah, and then in the second one, there isn't really anyone with him. I think you have Ian McShane.
Ian McShane's been for what he can get out of it.
Yeah.
You know, it pays him to keep John Wick alive.
It does, yeah. Something else I like about this is the small roles. Someone I really like in these films is Lance Reddick, the hotel desk man.
Yeah.
I think he's brilliant in these films. I think he's very good. And it's just all these small characters that just build the world.
The guy that does the clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these. And I think that all lets it build into a universe where you're there and you're like, okay, this is kind of a bit silly, but I love it, it's great.
No, I don't know if it's silly. I just think it's one of those things that you get into it and you're involved in it and you're thinking, yeah. I think there's a lot of people out there, a lot of men out there that would like to be John Wick for the day. I really
He is very cool, and sort of the title that his name carries.
Yeah, you know.
He can walk into a room and everyone stops.
Well, in the first one, it's the top of the Russian mafia, and his son drops John Wick in it, and he says to his son, "Do you realise who that was?" And his son said, "Yeah, some idiot." Like, he went, "No, that's John Wick." And like everyone in the room was like, "No, he hasn't." And he's just like, yeah, just by saying his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, and something that these films did, I mentioned a bit at the start, the combat. I think it's really built in the third film. I mentioned the Raid films. There's actually two of the guys from the Raid films are in the third film.
Oh yeah.
The two guys who they have the fight with him in the glass room, and they stop and go, "No, you're John Wick. We can't kill you. You gotta fight a bit. You gotta try and beat us."
Yeah.
And I think the villain in the third one as well. I think he's very charismatic. Is it is it the Cars? can't remember what his name is, but I think he's brilliant in that film.
Yeah, but again, he's very similar to John Wick.
He is, yeah, he is the counterpiece. But even then, he's a fan of John Wick.
Yeah, everyone knows who John Wick is.
Yeah.
And and a lot of them can't believe, their sigh of relief he's retired, and now he's back. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, he's not. And
I'm
it's
thinking
like,
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I just, as I say, I've enjoyed all three. I like the first one because it gives you the story of where it starts and all this sort of stuff. But the third one was really good as well. But the second, I think all three were really good. And the story just revolves along to the third one. And the fourth one is only as good as the last three. Then he's going to be brilliant again.
Yeah. Okay, so before we move on to what we want from the fourth one, what would you give the first one out of 10?
I'd give the first one an 8.
I'll give the first one an 8 as well. Yeah. What would you give the second one? I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I was going to say an 8 or 7, and then the third one back to 8 again.
I'll give the third one a 9. I think it's very close to perfection at that
8,
point.
7, 8, I think, for me.
Yeah? Okay, I'm going to go 8, 7, 9. So now moving on, if you could have anything out of the fourth film, what would it be?
For them to stop.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not do any more. Make the fourth one
The best one.
Yeah, the pinnacle of the four, and leaving it a little bit at the end, not knowing if he's gone or not.
There's a theory I've heard about the stages of grief, and is it the 5 stages of grief you have, which makes me think there's going to be 5 films, because the first 3, you can very nicely link the first 3 to stages of grief. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I think if there's a 4th one, there could then be a 5th one. I think there's meant to be a spin-off TV series called The Continental, which is just going to be about different assassins each episode.
But no, I don't think they want to push it
To a point it gets boring.
Yeah, and I think one more,
Yeah.
and that'll be.
Yeah.
He'll either walk off into the sunset,
Or he will.
or something will happen and you won't know either way.
Yeah. I could see. If you go for the stages of grief, I think his death, because that would let him have the acceptance of being with his wife again. But I think he needs to die in a way that he's solved all of his problems beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit rabies from the dog or something.
Yeah. But is there any actors, since they've got quite a big cast, like quite big names in their cast, is there anyone that you want to see in the fourth film? I've got 2 people I want to see in the fourth one.
McShane's going to be in the.
Oh yeah, so like new returning.
Anyone new that you can go up against.
Yeah, or be alongside, or there's 2 people, because we get sort of the idea of the round table. We've seen the man above the round table, but we haven't seen the round table itself. I think I know who I want to be the head of the round table.
Sure.
Uma Thurman.
Yeah. I was thinking a woman actually.
Because she has that legacy of being the bride in that combat, and she did quite a lot of that stunt work herself. I would love to see an Uma Thurman Keanu Reeves fight scene. And there's someone else that I want to have in these films.
Oh, even what's her name? Theron.
Charlize Theron, yeah.
Yeah, who's in Blonde.
Yeah, you've also got this is Chaz Stahelski. It's also produced by David Leitch, who did direct Atomic Blonde. So
yeah, that could be.
You have got that. Someone else I want is Iko Uwais. He's the main actor in the Raid films. He's the main SWAT guy. I think he's one of the best stuntmen, like the best action fighters. I think because John Wick, he's good, but he isn't the Round Table's man. The Round Table didn't hire him to be their number 1. So that means there must be someone who's better. And I think Iko Uwais could be that person who's better.
I don't know. So I think it's got to be a woman.
Yeah?
I think it's got to be a woman who's in charge of the Round Table.
Yeah. I could see sort of like a Spectre-esque table.
Yeah, woman.
Or something.
Or somebody like.
I think it's got to be quite a big actor or actress in that role.
I'll tell you, I think could play a really good baddie. He's played baddies, but they're a bit like tongue-in-cheek baddies. I think that's Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
He's played baddies, isn't he, like Thunderbirds and Iron Man. But I think he could play a real nasty.
I think he could.
I think he could be quite good at that.
Yeah.
But I think the Russian that's in the first one is pretty good.
He is, yeah. And then in the third one, I think I Mark Damascus. I'm not sure. I think that's his name. Yeah. I think he's great. He's really charismatic. You like him in that film. So yeah.
Yeah, but as I say, I don't know what the storyline's going to be for the fourth one.
I think I don't want to say I'm going to say spoilers, and then I can kind of go into it. But in the third film, the man above the high table says to him, the only way that I can stop this and let you go is if you kill Ian McShane's character. And as we know, at the end of the third film, Ian McShane's character he betrays him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I think either they had that planned.
Because you have the woman in that one as well, don't you?
The short hair, yeah.
Yeah, who's in charge. Basically telling
she was like the accountant sort of person,
she was
wasn't she? The lawyer,
showing what he could and couldn't do.
Yeah, I can see maybe him doing that, or I could just potentially see John Wick just beating the round table. But I don't know if he could. He's good.
But there's always someone better.
Yeah. That's why I think you need that. You need to have the round table's head, and you need to have their henchman, who I think Iko Uwais could be.
Yeah.
Very well.
Or it could end of him, Wick being on the round table.
Yeah.
In charge.
Yeah.
And they're taking over.
I could see that. My only worry with that is that really where his character would want to end up?
I think he's going to get to that stage where he's just had enough.
Yeah.
So he's going to want to do something.
I think he's already had enough.
Yeah, I think in the first one he'd had enough. But yeah, but I just think and then he's going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then on to that.
Necessarily, these the first John Wick really did reboost Keanu Reeves' career, didn't it?
Yeah.
And from that, I think next year we've got Bill and Ted 3, Matrix 4, and John Wick 4. So we've got 3 big Keanu movies.
Because it's funny, because The Matrix I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted,
I like Bill
I'm
and
not
Ted.
a big fan of that.
Yeah.
And I think there's been other things he's been in, and I'm thinking, no, not that. But this is definitely his.
You think this is best?
Yeah.
I think he definitely fits the role pretty much perfectly.
And as I say, he looks really good in that suit. Really does.
Yeah. I love the small details of it as well, sort of how he wears his watch on the inside so it doesn't shine on a sniper, and how he covers most of his face with a beard so that he can hide in darkness.
Plus he has some decent cars.
He does. Not for very long, but
we didn't see what happened to his original.
You do in the second one, don't you?
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah. But even that one they gave him, he smashed up.
Yeah.
Which was a nice car.
So I think that should.
Yeah, but no, looking forward to 4.
Definitely, I think that's one I'll probably see in the first week it opens.
Yeah, be good. Good. But it's just again, we say it so many times. It's just so it's not going to be disappointing.
Yeah, definitely. Hope it doesn't go on like they haven't pushed it beyond where it's.
They've got to give it everything this one, and if they're going to stop it, then stop it. But don't go half-hearted and then try and make another one.
Yeah, I don't think John Wick 3 can't be an end point because it's inconclusive, isn't it? It has that setup for number 4 and maybe number 5. So
Hope not.
We'll have to see, won't we? Yeah. So
okay.
Cheers, old boy.
Cheers. It's to the next one.
Indeed.
Is that it then?
Yeah, exactly.